You didn't click this by accident. Maybe someone out there just whispered your name in their dua, and without even realizing it, you felt it. You felt the tug in your chest, the warmth in your heart. And for a second you wondered, am I imagining this? But Islam teaches us something deeper. When someone thinks of you, with love, pain, longing, or even prayer, their thoughts don't disappear. They travel to you, through you, around you. These aren't just signs, they are soul-level messages. Let's uncover 5 signs that someone is thinking about you from the heart. 1. Their name suddenly comes to you out of nowhere. You weren't even thinking about them. You didn't hear their name today. You didn't scroll past an old photo. You didn't talk about them or even remember the last time you did. You've moved on, you've healed, or at least you thought you had. But suddenly, without warning, their name hits your mind like a whisper you didn't invite. And you pause, because it's not just a name, it brings a feeling. You feel something tighten in your chest. You feel still. You feel quiet, and part of you doesn't even know why. This is not coincidence. It's not obsession. It's not just overthinking. It's a sign, and your soul knows it. In Islam, the heart, the qalb, is not just a place for love or sadness. It's something Allah created to receive, to sense, to feel things that logic can't explain. And when someone thinks about you with sincerity, longing, pain, or prayer, that thought has weight. It has energy. It moves beyond the body, even if they're in another city, even if they haven't said your name in years, even if you've both gone your separate ways. The heart still remembers what the tongue forgot. When someone's thinking of you from the heart, truly thinking, not just remembering, Allah allows that emotion to echo, and you, without knowing why, hear it inside. Not with your ears, with your ruh. That's why your chest feels tight. That's why you feel soft. That's why you feel like something just brushed your heart and left quietly. Sometimes Allah lets this happen to wake you up, to test your reaction, to remind you that some bonds were written by Him, even if they weren't meant to stay forever. And sometimes it's because they're praying for you right now, and you're feeling the trace of their dua. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Hearts are like soldiers. Those that are familiar will be drawn together. Even when miles apart, even when time has passed, even when silence has become the norm, Allah can still allow your souls to touch, gently. So when their name suddenly visits you, don't panic. Don't assume it means you have to message them. You don't need to act. You just need to understand. Your heart is receiving something real. Instead of doubting yourself, take that moment and turn it into worship. Say, Ya Allah, if this soul is good for me, unite us with peace in a way that brings no harm. And if it's not, remove it gently so my heart doesn't break again. Because you don't know the full story, but Allah does. And if this is a test, a reminder, or even a quiet prayer reaching you from afar, respond with wisdom, with faith, with love for Allah more than for anyone else. The next time this happens, remember, you are not just imagining it. You are being reminded, not by a person, but by your soul, and maybe by the angels who heard their dua and delivered it to you in the form of a memory. 2. You keep seeing them in your dreams. You weren't planning to think about them. You weren't missing them. You might not even talk to them anymore, but then they show up in your dream, and not just once. It happens again and again. Sometimes it's soft, sometimes intense, Sometimes they're speaking to you like nothing ever changed. Other times, they're just standing there, quietly looking at you. And even though your eyes are closed, your soul feels like it's wide awake. You wake up and your heart is racing, not from fear, but from something you can't explain. A strange stillness, a deep presence. You try to forget it, but their face lingers, their energy stays, and the more you try to brush it off, the more it returns, night after night. And it's not just a dream. It's how real it felt, how you could feel their closeness, how you could see their eyes, the way they looked at you, like they were trying to tell you something, but couldn't. This isn't just the brain playing tricks. This might be the heart receiving something. Because in Islam, dreams can carry weight, especially the ones that wake you with emotion, especially the ones that repeat, especially the ones you remember clearly, as if they were more than sleep. Our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The truest dreams come to the most truthful hearts." And when two souls are connected, even from far away, even if they haven't spoken in months or years, Allah can allow them to meet, not here, but there, in the space between this world and the unseen. And it makes sense, because sometimes people carry prayers in their silence. They think of you before they sleep. They remember a moment, a smile, a regret, and they whisper your name in a dua they'll never say out loud. But Allah hears it, and sometimes He allows your soul to feel it, in a dream. Sometimes you wake up smiling. Other times you cry and you don't know why. You carry that feeling the whole day. Your chest feels heavier or lighter. And deep inside, your ruh is trying to process what just happened. There are nights you see them standing beside you, saying things they never said when they were around. Apologizing, thanking you, smiling, or just staring. And it feels so real that when you wake up, you need a minute to remember where you are. It's not just about them. It's about what Allah wants you to reflect on. What feelings are still alive in you? What healing still hasn't happened? What prayers still need to be made? Sometimes the person you see in your dream is not there to return, but to remind you of a lesson, a prayer, a test. Sometimes it's Allah's way of saying, "You once loved this soul sincerely. Don't let that love die without making dua for them." Even if they're no longer in your life, even if things ended painfully, you still have a choice to respond with bitterness or barakah. To wake up and say, "Ya Allah, give them peace, give them healing, and give me strength to let go," if that is what's best. Some people don't reach out in real life, but their soul still carries you, and your ruh is the only place they still show up. So next time it happens, don't panic, don't obsess, reflect, pray, and trust that Allah never allows a sincere connection to return in your sleep without meaning. Because not all dreams are dreams. Some are messages, some are mirrors, and some are doors that Allah opens just long enough for your soul to feel something it still needed to know. 3. You feel peace, but don't know why. You didn't expect it. You were just surviving the day. Your mind was scattered. Your heart felt tight. There were too many thoughts, too many emotions, too many things going wrong. Maybe you had a fight earlier. Maybe you were holding back tears. Maybe you were questioning everything, even your own worth. And then it happened. Silently. That moment of calm. You didn't plan it. You didn't meditate. You didn't even try to relax. But suddenly, your chest loosened. You felt lighter. Your hands weren't clenched. Your breath wasn't rushed. And in a way you can't explain, You felt safe, just for a moment. Safe. No phone rang, no one knocked. Nothing dramatic happened. But inside you, the noise softened. The storm paused, and the light you hadn't seen in weeks quietly returned. This is not a coincidence. This is Allah's way of telling you, someone remembered you, and I listened. You may never know who made the dua. Maybe someone prayed for you between sujood. Maybe they whispered your name after Fajr. Maybe they remembered your smile, your kindness, your pain, and asked Allah to ease your heart without even telling you. That's how powerful love is when it's sincere. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to show up in messages or long apologies. It just needs to be real and prayed from the heart. And in Islam, that kind of love never dies. Because when someone remembers you purely for the sake of Allah, their dua becomes light dash. And that light finds its way to you. It shows up when you're crying quietly and don't know why. It shows up when you're walking alone and suddenly feel like you're being protected. It shows up when you're about to give up, and something in you says, just hold on a little longer. That peace is a response, not from them, from Allah. Because when someone prays for you in secret, the angels carry that dua across the unseen. They deliver comfort to your soul, even if you've never heard that person's voice again, even if you've drifted apart, even if the only thing left between you is silence. Allah still listens. Allah still connects hearts. Maybe it was your mother who asked Allah to protect you from sadness. Maybe it was someone you once helped, and they've never forgotten you. Maybe it was someone who saw your pain but never said anything, and they cried to Allah for your healing. And maybe that's why you felt peace. Not because your life is perfect, not because your problems are gone, but because Allah sent a breeze to your soul as an answer to someone else's prayer. So the next time your heart suddenly feels quiet, the next time you feel warmth in your chest without reason, the next time you catch yourself smiling, but you don't know why, know this: your soul was touched. Your pain was noticed. Your name was mentioned in a place more powerful than this world. And that peace you felt, it's proof Allah is still with you, even when you think no one else is. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and whisper back, Ya Allah. For whoever prayed for me, bless them, protect them, forgive them, and let them feel this same peace when they need it most. Because maybe they gave you peace when they were drowning in their own storm. 4. You start feeling their pain without a word. You're living your day like normal. You're not thinking about anything heavy. You're not even sad. But out of nowhere, your heart sinks. Your energy drops. You feel like crying, and you don't know why. You look around, nothing happened. No argument, no bad memory. But inside, it feels like someone just passed a storm through your chest. You try to shake it off. You distract yourself. But something inside you keeps whispering, someone's not okay. And then, their name hits you. You weren't even thinking about them. But now they're sitting at the front of your heart. And it's not just a memory. It's a feeling, a weight, a worry you can't explain. You wonder, why now? Why them? Why this feeling? But deep inside you already know their pain is speaking, and your soul is listening. This is one of the signs of a spiritual heart, one that's not blocked by ego, one that still feels softness, even for someone who's no longer in your life. Because in Islam, the ruh, the soul, is not limited by words or logic. It's not like the brain. The soul doesn't need a reason to feel. It just knows. And when someone you once had love for, real, pure, sincere love, is hurting deeply, sometimes Allah allows that ache to touch you, even from miles away, even from silence, even from someone you haven't heard from in years. That's why the sadness feels so personal. Because the connection was never fully broken, only paused. It could be a friend who never said goodbye, a parent who hides their struggle, a sibling who's drifting, or someone you once cared about, who now lives only in your du'as. But when your heart suddenly collapses in silence, it might not be about you. It might be your heart being used by Allah to sense someone else's pain, so you can carry it to Him in dua. This is why emotional sensitivity is a blessing, not a curse. It means your heart is still alive. It means Allah still trusts you with invisible work. It means your compassion is still pure enough to pick up signals no one else notices. So don't ignore it. Don't say, "I'm just emotional." You're not weak. You're connected. You were chosen to receive a silent SOS dash from someone who didn't even know they were sending it. And maybe Allah knew. You'd be the one to care enough to pray. You'd be the one to whisper, "Ya Allah, I don't know what they're facing, but I feel it. I feel something. Please, ease it." You may never get a thank you. You may never get a message, but your prayer will reach them before any word ever could. That's what real love is in Islam. Not what you say, but what you feel, and what you carry to Allah when no one else knows. So the next time you suddenly feel someone's sadness for no reason, take it as a sacred invitation. You're being called not by a voice, but by a soul. And that soul is asking you to do what maybe no one else is doing, to pray, to feel, to remember, to be the silent light in someone else's darkness. 5. You think of them right when they needed you. You're just sitting quietly, maybe scrolling your phone or making tea, and suddenly their name pops into your head. It's not a memory, it's not a flashback, it's a pull. You feel the urge to reach out, to send a message, to check in, even if it's been months or years. And you pause. You think, what if it's weird? What if they don't reply? What if I'm just overthinking? But something in your heart doesn't let it go. You feel like they need something. You don't know what, but you feel it. And then, the moment you finally reach out, they say the words that stop your breath. "I really needed someone today. You messaged me at the perfect time. I was just thinking of you." That's not a coincidence. That's divine timing. In Islam, we believe that Allah is Al-Latif, the one who is subtly kind, the one who arranges soft, quiet miracles at the exact moment they're needed. And sometimes, you are part of someone else's miracle. You are the answer to their silent dua. You are the comfort Allah sent them. Not with fireworks, but with a simple message that said, "I'm here." We don't always realize how connected our hearts are. You may be thinking about them. At the exact moment, they're breaking down in sujud. Or maybe they're sitting alone, feeling invisible. And your text shows them Allah didn't forget you. And it's not because you're psychic. It's not because you're emotionally attached. It's because when someone is sincere, when someone loved you for the sake of Allah, even without speaking, your hearts remain in silent conversation. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The most beloved actions to Allah are those done in secret at the right time." And what's more beautiful than silently showing up for someone when they've lost hope in everyone else? So the next time your heart nudges you, even if it makes no sense, don't ignore it. don't silence that feeling. Pause and say, Ya Allah, if they're hurting, let me be a means of healing. If they're struggling, let my words carry your mercy. Because maybe the reason you're thinking of them right now is because their soul is crying for help, and Allah chose you to be the one who responds. There's a secret beauty in how Allah connects hearts. You may never hear the words, you may never see the message, but you'll feel it, because in Islam, when someone truly thinks of you with sincerity, the angels don't keep it silent, they deliver it. So if this video made you think of someone, stop right now and make dua for them. Say, Ya Allah, give them peace, give them light, forgive their pain, heal their heart. Because maybe they've been praying for you too. And this video was your confirmation.